What the fuck is up, shitheads? It's Ryan and Travis back with another episode of Dudes Talking Shit. This is episode, I think, number 49.
R.I.P. DMX.
Is that what this is?
R.I.P. DMX?
Fuck, that guy kills dogs.
That triggered
I know.
someone so bad today.
Travis, I got a question for you.
I couldn't stop laughing. He got so mad.
If you shit yourself, do you throw those underwear out or do you
Yes.
just wash them?
Throw him out.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a washer.
Why? Have you shit yourself recently to discover this?
No, but when I say shit, I don't mean a full-blown log that you end up having to sit on for an hour until you got home. I mean fucking like a shark, like a good squirter. Like,
I haven't had any of that situation in many a year.
it's been a few years for me too, but I would definitely be a washer.
I almost shit my pants today, though, actually. It's funny that you bring that up.
Oh.
And actually, I was...
That's really creepy that I fucking pulled that out.
Because we don't talk to each other through the day.
No.
Like, very rarely. And I actually had a conversation with someone today. And I was like, I think 30% of my conversations are about shit. And I had no idea that this is what you intended to bring up off the top of the hour.
I was asking both of our managers today if they shit themselves, would they wash or would they throw them out?
Yeah.
And one was a washer, one was a thrower outer. And they got into like a little bit of an argument, like of how fucking retarded the other person's decision is. And they stood by it. And it's funny that we both have opposite answers too. Like even if it was like a full on, like a 4-second shart, and I had to go home and change whatever, I would still just wash those underwear. Now don't get me wrong. If I was wearing white ones and they fully stained them, and the stain didn't come out, yeah, I'm tossing them. But if I'm wearing black undies, nah, I'm just washing them, wearing them again the next day.
Man, today I was in the middle of a conversation with a customer, and I was just like, yep, okay, I got to go talk to my manager, and I ran to the bathroom.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was destructive. And where my desk is too, they're right. So she had just went to the bathroom.
Yeah. So she knew the manager's office is not around the corner.
Yes. So I had to run to the bathroom and service. And service was fucking full. So I barrel into the bathroom. I hadn't pooped in there in a very long time.
I like it because that toilet's higher. So I'm not someone like your height might gargoyle a bit, but me, I feel like I'm just relaxed.
Yeah, no.
Knees aren't up around my shoulders.
That's not a good toilet for me.
No.
No, I'm on my tippy toes. But yeah, I had a huge shit, cleaned up, went back, and it was good.
Dude, I
made them press for time, though, which was bad.
Who fucking cares? Figure it out, guys.
Prince Philip, good job.
Yeah, we fucking picked him.
We got one!
Yeah, we at the beginning of this year, we picked a bunch of people that would be dead, this celebrity, people of status that would die this year. And so far, we've picked one.
We got Philip.
And you know what? I think the Queen will be this year too. She's going to die of a broken heart this year.
Man, did you see her dressed in all black and she was crying a little bit?
No.
That made me sad. I know, smashed.
Well, did the funeral happen already?
No, but she was outside of the home, outside of their house, and she was just
house. Isn't it like a palace
or whatever the fuck it is? And she was dressed in all black or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was emotional, which she's a very composed lady. You don't see her emotional.
Yeah, because she's a fucking pre-programmed robot at this point. She's an android or something.
Yeah, and
with turkey skin stretched around her.
I always feel bad for an old person who lost their significant other. That's hard. That's your buddy.
He almost made it to 100. I guess he was just a few months or weeks away.
Yeah, a couple months, I think.
Jesus.
That's too bad. Very interesting, though. Whenever... we have a buddy from Kuwait, and sometimes he'll talk about how it's like a kingdom.
Yeah.
That there's a king or whatever the title is. I don't know. And I always, in my head, I'm like, man, that's so fucking weird. That's such a different thing. King is such an old... And then I'm like, wait a minute. There's a queen. And but I guess the difference is in the UK, she's essentially useless.
Oh, yeah. She's
she doesn't do anything.
No, she's just a freaking activist at this point.
Yeah. And it's not like she's actually doing anything of importance. That's handled by politics.
Yeah, that guy. Or Theresa May?
Theresa May? Is that who
what's the
British Prime Minister is?
I don't know.
No, Boris Johnson.
Boris?
Yeah, I think Boris.
Boris.
pretty sure. He's a Russian implant.
Is it, he reminds me of the guy from Goldeneye. I'm invincible, and he runs away from you. Fuck that guy, man. In what was that level called? Control or something like that. And you got to run. If you follow him upstairs and into that little cell, you could get a body armor.
Do you know what's crazy? How no other 007 game has had anywhere even remotely close.
We've talked about
to
this
that
so many
level of
times now.
popularity.
I think this is literally like the third or fourth time now.
Yeah, but we've never talked about how no other 007 game has ever been that good.
We'll put it this way. I never played The World Is Not Enough or whatever it's called.
I've never played another 007 game.
Or Tomorrow Never Dies. I don't think I ever played them.
No.
I did watch someone play Goldeneye when it was remastered for like Wii.
Yeah.
And it looked like it. First of all, the graphics didn't look better.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to run any smoother. And it was like, it just looked stupid. I was like, okay. Like, man, that's the problem with Nintendo and Rare, Rare was the developing company.
Same company who made Pokemon.
And Donkey Kong and shit, yeah.
Yeah.
They just hold GoldenEye so close to their heart that they're like, no, we can't give away our... Like, they're not giving anyone permission. Like, if Activision went in and made that game new, but like, with like, let's say Call of Duty level fucking graphics.
Yeah.
And controlling fluidity, like with 60 frames per second or more.
It'd be
or
nuts.
120 frames per second in modern day.
Just imagine the exact same maps, but all redone and remastered.
Yeah,
like,
don't try adding fancy little shit. Like, if that computer blew up, it blows up still.
Yeah.
Like, just make the same map, just with better, like, modern day graphics.
Yeah.
And controls of, like, the Call of Duty control style, like, because it's the most fluid of shooters.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, that game, especially if you made the same maps, I don't know, you'd have to make new maps that are more playable for multiplayer, like multiplayer 6v6 or something. But if you stuck with, like, a 4-person free-for-all, or even added 2 more people, you could probably use those exact same maps to scale.
Yeah. And the only thing... did any other company or did any other console have GoldenEye? I can't remember that.
None until the Wii.
It was only N64.
Right, like there's
so it's only been Nintendo.
Yes, since then, don't get me wrong, there was like emulators that you could play on PC and shit.
Yeah.
But like it's the same game. It's just you can just play it now instead of fucking blowing a cartridge. And
man, I wonder how many times we've talked about GoldenEye on this show.
I still say that it's the greatest shooter game of all time. And by there's some games that are obviously better, but for like nostalgia purposes and the date and time that it came out, and just the impact it had on anyone that's like realistically between 40 and fucking 28, like that's a pretty wide variety of age. We all slayed that fucking game.
Everybody loved it.
That was the after school fucking thing, man.
The next one was definitely Halo. After that,
for shooters, definitely. The next game that just like the game that killed GoldenEye, that made it not the game for all the guys to play like after school and on weekends and shit, was Tony Hawk, and then Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, those like if Tony Hawk never came out, there would have been another couple of years
of GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, like we'll put it this way: the PS2 would have had to come out.
Yeah,
because that's what was out when GTA 3 came out when it was like a real world sort of situation and not top down.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. So GTA 3 was the first one.
First one of its like the style it is now. It's not just a top down sort of thing.
Man, the only Grand Theft Auto game I've ever really gotten into was Vice City.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I've beat the shit out of all of them. Like GTA 3, I didn't play that much, but when Vice City came out, beat the game. Yeah. San Andreas, because now that was the first one that you could go around the whole world and there wasn't like stop to load in between neighborhoods, basically. Yeah. I beat the fuck out of that game. I remember that
being such a big deal.
I will say, though, I've never beaten San Andreas without using a cheat, though. Like, I've beat it multiple times, but I always ended up using cheats, not for health or invincibility, but always for cars.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I ever cheated on it with was for cars.
Yeah.
Because I'm the guy that I'll play the whole game with a Sanchez, which is the dirt bike.
Yeah.
Because man, you fucking hardly fall off it. It can drive anywhere. It gets decent top speed. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But I find like on a regular street bike, if you hit one thing, you're fucked. You'll go flying through the air. But on the Sanchez, sometimes you'll just like take the back of a car as a jump.
Right. And it could
or
just
like a
take it.
pole or something, or like a curb, you'll just poof, bounce over it. It was fun. Plus, you could take shortcuts just like through the mountains and shit.
Well, the guy was called the Sanchez, and it was a dirt bike.
Yeah, I know. It was sick.
The dirty Sanchez.
Yeah, it was that man. Plus, in San Andreas, I'll still say it had the best radio.
Oh, really?
Like, oh yeah, the radio stations on the like the best song variety. It wasn't the biggest. Like you listen to the K Rose station, which is a country station,
Yeah.
and you'll hear the same songs within an hour. Like there's
Right.
probably only 15 songs at most that are on a station.
Yeah.
But they're just fucking barn burners that to the point where still to this day I know those songs.
That's
Like
hilarious.
I could fucking sing along with them because I know them, and that's not just with that station, but with all of them.
I used to love like the talk radio stations on Vice City.
Dude, they're fucking hilarious. And they had like at least with GTA 5, it adapted. Like I recently beat the full campaign again, like within like this year, 2021.
Yeah.
I actually beat the full campaign again. And like the talk radio adapts, and like the news breaks for other radio stations, it adapts to the choices you've made. So if you go on a random ass rampage just for shits and giggles, that news story somehow gets put in at some point. Like
No way.
it has nothing to do with things. That can be, don't get me wrong, some actual dialogue from the campaign gets
Yeah.
put in there too. So it like mentions things. Like if you had to rob some guy, it'll mention that robbery.
Right.
But like if you just went on a random ass rampage and like destroyed shit, it's like, well, there's been this wild thing going on over in the freaking Vinewood Hills where people's cars are being stolen. Helicopters are landing on houses. Like
How big is the GTA 5 map?
fucking massive. And like
Like if you were to do a full loop of it, how long does it take?
to drive around the full in a regular car or in like the best Ferrari you can find.
In like a regular old car.
I wouldn't be surprised if it legitimately to do like the whole what is it, perimeter
Yeah.
circumference. I wouldn't be surprised if it legitimately takes a half hour.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, probably about a half an hour.
So you can go probably end to end of it in 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, and the reality is everyone always fucking, as soon as you see one crazy sports car, you cut that guy off and you take that car.
Right.
No one fucking drives a Ford Taurus around the thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to take the Ferraris or the fucking crazy Lambos and
And
shit,
they still don't have license to use real car names, right?
yeah, exactly.
Because now...
There's lots of mods where you do use the real car names.
Yeah.
But like that's like a strictly PC thing, and that's like
But I feel like that's almost a part of like the legend and the folklore of it now. Is
yeah.
That it
Same with
doesn't-
the guns aren't named real things.
Really?
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the rocket launcher is called an RPG. I think they call it a rocket launcher.
Now, so Vice City is Vice City. San Andreas is San Andreas.
Yeah.
Then there's Grand Theft Auto 4
Yeah.
and then 5.
Yeah.
So there's technically 7.
Yeah. So 5 is New York, but they call it Liberty City.
Right.
That's where number 3 was as well, and the original 2 top-down ones were in Liberty
no,
City.
Wasn't 3 supposed to be Miami?
No,
Oh,
Vice City is Miami. Yeah, and then 4 is L.A., which is they call it San Andreas because it's on the San Andreas Vault, which is why
Right.
there's so many earthquakes there and shit. And there was a movie about it, in fact.
Directed by a Newfoundlander.
Oh, anyway, moving right along. And then after San Andreas, like it, you know what's fucking insane, man? Look at the graphics sometime in San Andreas. Like you can still play it today. Like you can download it for like modern Xbox and PlayStations in the store and play that game still. And the graphics are like, holy fuck, I remember how good this was. Play GTA 4, which is the Grand Theft Auto that came out right after San Andreas.
Yeah.
Not even long later. Because GTA, like San Andreas came out near the end of PS2's lifespan.
Yeah.
And so like we're talking like it was the next generation, yes, but it wasn't many years apart.
Right.
Fucking barn burner of graphics. The roads and they looked incredible on fucking Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
Like you know when you see a road in real life and it has like a patch job from where it was a pothole, like that looks like that in this
Yeah.
game. Like the train tracks where there's like fucking the streetcars and shit,
Yeah.
like or a subway train. It looks like it. New York looked like fucking New York. It was insane.
Man, the evolution of graphics is fucking insane. Like
Ridiculous.
that's even so you don't play these games, but there's this game Star Wars Battlefront that I play a lot of.
I know it, but I've watched a little bit of it on Twitch and shit.
Yeah, so the original one that I grew up with like back in 2004, 2005, that me and my buddies played a lot. Like at the time I remember playing that and just being like, How can it get any better? Like, how can a game get better than this? And now, like, onto the modern one, the one that came out in 2017, but they keep updating it, obviously. And it's like, I think it has to do with how smooth everything is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no hard edges to everything. Like, nothing feels clunky.
Is that an exclusive to PlayStation or something? No?
It's everything.
So this is you being wowed for a console player.
Yeah.
Like, I just recently switched to PC, like, in January of this year.
Yeah.
And I didn't know things were just that much better. Now I know why they call it, like, the PC Master Race.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a control player. I have to use a controller. I can't use keyboard and mouse. It just ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
And so the only games I play are ones that I can use a controller with.
Yeah.
But the graphic change is just I little flex here. My 3090 graphics card is unfucking believable with some of the ray tracing that they have. So like the lights and the water look real. I'm like I literally, when I opened up Call of Duty Modern Warfare and I went into some of like the classic maps from COD 4 back in 2007.
Yeah.
And like the amount of hours I played on those maps, and I played them remade and redesigned with the graphics.
Yeah.
I literally had tears in my eyes. Like,
you can't believe what
I just, it looked so nice. And it was just like all that nostalgia. And then all of a sudden I saw how nice it was. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, I couldn't believe how good of a job they did.
Yeah.
And this is with my stuff all like cranked too, because I can do that. This fucking rig of mine. And anyway, I literally had tears in my eyes, man.
Yeah.
And now it's at the point where like I'm just so used to that level of quality.
If you go back to a console now, it'd be a piece of shit.
My eyes would probably burn because I'm only looking at 60 frames per second instead of 170.
Right. Man, yeah, it's incredible. Video games are great.
Yeah, and that's only 170 frames per second. I can ramp it up to like 360 like now with some of those new monitors.
And like a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, how long is the campaign?
Here's the thing. I don't know because I'm that fucking kind of player that I do every single fucking side mission. Right. And there's like those freaks and strangers. So that when you're driving along, you'll just hear, hey, help, that guy stole my wallet. And like you have the option to like go chase that guy and return the wallet.
Can you catch the guy and just keep the wallet?
Yeah, absolutely. And you keep the money. But it's just it's just a little piece that was never finished, you know?
Right.
Because like those people only populate at certain times of day, certain circumstances, certain weather, certain everything. So it's like the odds of you driving in that same area when that same thing pops up, it's not easy to recreate.
Right.
So I do all of those little side missions too. Anyway, long story short, I want to say it maybe took me like 30 hours of gameplay.
Jeez.
Probably 30 hours to beat the campaign. Like to the point where 100% freaks and strangers, 100% side mission shit.
Yeah.
All those stupid little skydive missions and fucking hunting and all that crap.
Yeah.
Target practice. To do all that, yeah, probably between 30 and 40 hours. I don't know. I streamed the whole thing, twitch.tv/drunkryan TV, and you can see the entire playthrough broken up into like, I don't know, 2 weeks worth of fucking me. And I was drunk.
The whole time.
The whole fucking time.
So what do you got going on tonight?
Wrestle fucking Mania.
What do you got going on tomorrow night?
Wrestle fucking Mania.
So where's it to this weekend?
It's in Tampa, Florida,
okay,
at Raymond James Stadium, same place as the Super Bowl was at.
And
25,000 people in the stands. The rest of the seats will be filled with cardboard cutouts.
How do you feel about that?
It's kind of interesting to see that there'll be people there again, like, which I am very in favor of. The fact that there's actually like real people that will chant like the way they want, not the way producers want you to chant.
Last year, WrestleMania went ahead, right?
Yeah, in front of 0 people. No like Zoom faces like that. That's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
None of that. There's just nobody there, period. It was fucking weird, man. It was stupid.
Like pumped in audio or anything?
Nothing. There was nothing at that point. It fucking sucked, man. Like a couple of the matches were still okay, all things considered, but like.
And is WWE going back to live audiences permanently after this?
I don't believe so. I think they're still going to go back to just using what they call a Thunderdome, and it's just it's like an interactive thing with a ton of faces of people watching it live, but on Zoom.
Yeah.
They have their webcams turned on so you can see them in their living rooms, in their offices or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's But I think a lot of those are pre-recorded at this point to avoid fucking trolls. All the audio is pumped in, like the cheers and the boos. And
Has there been some troll situations?
oh yeah, some like members of KKK showing up and stuff. People like switching their webcam feed to like videos of like pretty graphic shit. They got that all ironed out, so it's all on a delay now. But it's yeah, that's why I say I don't know how real time it really is.
Yeah.
Because like they get like, I think they just got a bunch of people to like go on your webcam, watch, but then also record yourself doing a couple like boos with the thumbs down and stuff like that.
Right.
And then they just pipe in the audio, so like it's strictly production tells you how to feel.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up because like as a fan of the sport for 30 plus years now, I like I kind of get it. Like
yeah.
I know what's good and what's not at this point. But like when I start hearing people cheering, I'm like, you're not supposed to be cheering for that. What are you doing right now? Don't cheer for that. It's just like, what are you doing to me? Like they're trying to make a good guy seem good, but like.
So is that? Yeah, because you've always, I guess, WWE or wrestling in general does the job to create a heel or create a babyface.
Yeah, every match has to have a good guy and a bad guy.
But sometimes, like, it doesn't work out the way they planned. It happens organically with the fans.
Yes, the best example of that, and why a lot of people consider it from a wrestler's wrestler perspective, it's one of the greatest matches ever. And I fucking saw it live, baby. I was fucking there, man.
What was it?
WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan.
Because they were both babyface.
No, Hulk Hogan was the bad guy, and The Rock was the good guy.
Right.
But that's Toronto, baby. Hulk can't die in Toronto.
Why?
Because WrestleMania 6, man, when he did the favors and let Ultimate Warrior win, it's fucking wrestling. Wrestling is such a big thing in the city of Toronto for like nostalgia purposes. Like there's so much history in the sport of wrestling in that city. That's why like even the crazy press conference with fucking Mayweather and McGregor leading up to that boxing fight, that press conference is one of the most insane ones you ever see. Because that's like a showmanship town. They love fucking people hyping shit up.
Right.
That's why like they love Drake because the way he gets on the sidelines at the Raptors games and shit, right?
Right.
That city just loves that. It's just part of the culture there. It's different. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's another one that's very high like that, and Chicago too, in fact. But
right. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. They get behind their shit.
Right. So Hulk Hogan is a hero in Toronto. When he came out, I was part of the crowd. It was fucking The Rock sucks. Even though he's the good guy and you're supposed to cheer for him, and that's who you in your heart want to win, or in your mind you want to win, your heart is like, no. Hulk Hogan, baby. He came out with the boas on and shit. Yeah. And it was just like, nope. We all, like 68,925 people organically decided without conversation or buying into what other people were saying. We all said, no, it can't. Well, we want Hulk to win. And before the match officially started, they were both in the ring staring each other down. Now, I'm sure there was a scripted stare down for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
To like before they got moving. But the rest of it, like it probably lasted more than 2 minutes of a stare down because that crowd was not stopping. Hogan, so it was fucking so loud. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because I was fucking in on it, man. Like that was when a decision was made that this match has to be different. Like it was supposed to be essentially The Rock just beating up Hulk Hogan for 20 minutes and then fucking calling it a day.
Yeah,
couldn't happen. Place would have fucking rioted if that happened. So anyway, they ended up having a match with traditional wrestling moves, not super showy like the Rock style stuff. Yeah. There was just a simple arm drag takedown and fucking then Hogan threw the Rock down and then fucking did a flex. The fucking roof could have popped off the Sky Dome. I'm serious. Like he just fucking man, that was insane. I was sitting in the fucking 300 section where was I? I don't remember what section. The 300s are the highest ones. Anyway, long story short, I wasn't super close, but I was close enough that I could see every detail perfectly. Yeah. And holy fuck, man, my voice was gone after that.
So when he flexed, the place just lost it.
Insanity. In fucking sanity. It just it was already extremely pumped up. Like the electricity, you could almost see the fucking energy in the air. Like it was just this weird fucking thing. I can't even explain. I'll probably only experience once in my life. And it was when I was 16, for fuck's sakes. And as soon as he threw the Rock into the corner and flexed at him with both arms, oh my fuck. Boom! Like one of the loudest noises.
What year was that?
2000. It was 19 years ago. So what would that be? 2002?
God, so Hulk was like, he wasn't in his prime anymore.
No.
But he was still good looking. Like, he still had it together.
Yeah, and he was in pain in that match. But he said, man, I went into that match with a damn near broken back. I was in a ton of pain. I was sore. And yet, you would have never fucking known. Between The Rock being as good as he is, carrying the match, and Hogan doing all he needed to for, like, his generation of wrestling wasn't nearly as athletic.
Right.
It was more of the fucking theatrics.
Yeah.
So they tore the fucking roof off that place. And the main event, which was after that, had no chance. There wasn't a fucking chance.
Wait, that wasn't the main event?
Well, you ask anyone, and it was, because it was the poster. It was the best match. Like I said, goes down in history as one of the greatest matches of all fucking time.
Yeah.
Because everything they scripted had to get thrown out. Everything they planned and they kind of walked through the motions before. The Rock still had to win.
Yeah.
That still had to happen. So they did that, but they did it in a way that Hogan was cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, it made sense. The fans weren't upset about it, but they made it all up 100% on the spot because of the reaction of the crowd. They had to change everything. Yeah, and it wasn't the main event. Riddle me fucking that.
What was the main event?
Chris Jericho and Triple H. And it's sad. It sucks because a lot of people say it wasn't that great of a match, but because the crowd was dead after. We used every bit of energy we had left because it was already a long night.
Yeah.
By that Hogan and Rock match, every bit of energy we had. So, like, no matter what happened after, you weren't going to win.
Like, Mankind could have dropped out of the ceiling and it didn't
Wouldn't have fucking mattered.
Yeah.
Nothing would have. The only thing that could have possibly mattered at that point in history is if somehow Stone Cold Steve Austin got put into that match of Triple H and Chris Jericho,
right,
and won. That's the only thing, because he was just that big of a star.
Yeah.
But he already had a match earlier on that night. So, but if somehow something happened that he got put in that's the only thing that would have brought the crowd back to life.
Did I tell you I saw a Stone Cold match live once?
No?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Against who?
Goldust.
Incredible. They had a wicked fucking program back in 98.
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't against Goldust because Triple H fought Goldust that night because China...
When Triple H wore pants and he was like the fancy fucking guy.
And China used to walk out with him.
Yeah.
And China low-blowed Goldust
Makes
that
sense.
night.
Dude, Goldust was so fucking sick back then.
Steve Austin did fight that night, but I don't know if I've told you this, but...
What year-ish?
Would have been like 98, 99?
98, so it probably would have been against like Savio.
No, could have been 97.
No, probably against Savio Vega then. That's when they were in a huge...
Okay. Yeah, because it was just like...
him and The Rock weren't battling yet. They were never... So it wouldn't have been that.
It was a small, untelevised show. Like, kind of like what we went and saw a couple years back.
Yeah.
Like, it was just them touring around and doing their thing. But, yeah, that was super cool. But Goldust scared the shit out of me.
Dude, fucking Goldust was sick. He was one of my favorites back then, which is weird. Because, like...
I shit my pants that night.
Literally?
Literally.
I love how this is a full circle conversation. All right, story time.
Yeah, Goldust scared me so bad I shit my pants.
Ow, he's just an androgynous character. It's
I was
not
like,
even...
I would have been like 7.
That's quite the word I used.
Yeah, I don't know what it, like when he...
Is that the right term for that?
When he came out and he was like rubbing down his body and stuff, and he was like on the ropes, like kind of being weird with the crowd and everything. In hindsight, amazing crowd work.
Yeah.
Like the man was brilliant.
Still is.
Is he still going?
He is. In fact, he has wrestled in more decades than any current wrestler.
Really?
Well, he wrestled in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and now the 2020s. That's 5 decades.
Wow.
That he has wrestled within.
So did he must have only came around right at the end of the 80s. Then.
I want to say like 88 or something like that.
Yeah, because he was like, he was a young man in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a great match with him.
He can still go almost as well as he could in the late 90s when he was, in my opinion, probably in his prime, like as Goldust. And then like he did the artist formerly known as Goldust. And then he started getting these weird things where sometimes he would come out in like a one-piece lingerie bodysuit.
No.
He started getting really fucking edgy at that point in time. Like that's when things were just fucked. But yeah, the Goldust, man, unbelievable. I've never seen a Goldust match in real life.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a lie. I did at WrestleMania 18, but
Really?
I cannot remember who he wrestled.
Yeah.
I think Booker T or something.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like him and Triple H was a really cool.
How do I not
matchup.
remember that?
And Triple H had like long hair and everything back
Yeah,
then too.
Triple H was great.
Yeah, and China, man, she fucking did the like, the low blow from behind with the forearm.
Yep.
Like that's the one she gave him and like took him off the ground, kinda. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
It was almost like a fucking like a Bugs Bunny type low blow.
It was a hardcore match that was at WrestleMania 18.
Okay.
Versus Maven, which was a fucking loser. Oh, the match was 3 minutes 17 seconds long. Should have been a second shorter. Fuck. Oh, dude. Oh, there was 2 matches after The Rock and Hogan. One of them I remember that. Yeah, okay. I do remember that match existed, but I have zero memory of the match or the fact that it happened after.
Yeah.
Wow, that poor. It was a women's match. They were guaranteed put on for a bathroom break. It's rude to say, but that's actually why the programming would have done that way. Yeah, it was Edge versus Booker T. The Undertaker versus Ric Flair. Like the 2 best ever, period, bar none.
Yeah.
In a match against each other in a no DQ match. Oh, fuck, man. That was a great night. I took a picture and posted it, I don't know, March 17th, exactly that day. I posted a picture of me with my ticket stub.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, nostalgia overload. And without planning it, it's just the way it worked out. I was wearing a Hulk Hogan shirt too. In that photo I'm talking about.
Dude, I just found this crazy wrestling database. November 5th, 1996 was the year of that show.
That you went to?
Yeah.
Does it show the card? Because I'm thinking it probably would have been Savio Vega. Because Stone Cold, when he became Stone Cold, they had a huge fucking, like a year-long damn fucking thing. Or him and Jake the Snake for a bit.
I don't think this is right. So, Bob Holly defeated Justin Bradshaw. The Sultan defeated Carl Leduc. Psycho Sid defeated Vader.
Sick fucking match.
Billy Gunn defeated Bart Gunn. Owen Hart and the British Bulldog defeated the Goodwins.
Yeah, the Godwins.
Yeah. Mark Mero.
You don't remember them? They dressed like farmers and had the slop bucket. Henry and Phineas Godwin.
No.
And they had the coolest fucking music. And they'd come out with a slop bucket, and it stunk. It was probably just fucking oatmeal, but the script was that it stunk like crazy.
Yeah.
You don't remember that at all? Dude, they had a sick theme song too.
Dude, you're gonna be so disappointed in me. I've remembered this night completely wrong. So who's Mark Mero?
Marvelous Mark Mero. Do you want to know something fucked up? That is he was married at one point to Rena Mero. You know who Rena Mero is?
No.
She goes by Sable, Brock Lesnar's wife.
Sable is so fucking hot.
First girl I ever saw in a thong.
Dude, you're gonna be. This has to be the card I saw. So Mark Mero man, that means I was only 6.
Fuck.
I was 6 years old. No wonder I shit my pants.
Every 6-year-old shits themselves.
So Mark Mero defeated Triple H.
Yeah.
So Triple H didn't fight Goldust that night. I was wrong. It was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in a tag team versus Goldust and Mankind.
Wow.
I don't remember that though.
No, that's fucking... No wonder you shit yourself probably when The Undertaker came out. Fuck, horrifying.
And Mankind.
Yeah.
Now that I do remember Mankind, but who could I be confusing back then for Stone Cold?
Because in 1996 is when he became Stone Cold. He wasn't Stone Cold until, I don't know, like May, April of 96.
Yeah, and this was November of 96.
So he was Stone Cold by then. He'd already won King of the Ring.
Maybe there was just like a promo with him or something there.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's so funny. So man, there is a lot of my childhood heroes in there. Vader, Owen Hart, Mankind,
Fucking Vader.
Shawn Michaels.
The Rocky Mountain Grizzly Bear. Vader. He's dead. Remember when he was on Boy Meets World?
Yes.
He was the bully's dad or whatever?
Dude, have you seen that guy lately?
Vader?
Ethan Suplee?
No, who's that?
So
is that Corey Matthews?
No. Ethan Suplee in the show, his dad was played by Vader.
Yeah, okay.
It's a big, huge fat guy, and then he was Tuna in the movie Blow.
I don't think I ever saw that movie.
Really good movie. But anyways, he's fucking jacked now. Like he is huge, but in a completely different way.
Oh no shit.
Man, do you remember how big he was?
No.
He was just like a balloon walking around.
Tuna?
Yeah, he was so fat, man. Like it was insane.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Yeah, but I also have more
not
wrestling
listening.
questions.
Okay. What is the difference between a piano, a tuna, and a bucket of glue?
I don't know.
You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna.
You're an idiot. What's the bucket of glue?
I knew you'd get stuck on that.
Dude.
That's the greatest joke I ever said. Tuna. Oh, yeah, I recognize that guy now.
Yeah, but he's fucking jacked now. Yeah, so we're WrestleMania tonight. Is this an exciting one? Like,
no, in my opinion, it's gonna be like it's WrestleMania. At the end of the day, it's the fucking thing that makes them money. It's the fucking Super Bowl of wrestling. Like they're gonna do something's. They're gonna do good. Okay,
Yeah.
like it's gonna happen. Actually, they'll do well. Superman does good.
Right.
All right. Let's be on the same page with that motherfucker. No, you know what? At the end of the day, it's not gonna absolutely suck. However, nothing is exciting about it other than the simple fact that it's WrestleMania. There's not one match that I'm like, I can't fucking wait to see it.
Right.
The biggest shock that I think is going to happen is there's going to be a big return tonight, I believe. So
You think it's going to be Undertaker?
no, he's retired. He's done. He's 100% done. He's come on and off the record on interviews and said, as the Undertaker character, he will never be in the ring again. Like he physically will show up again as Mark Calloway, like that's his real name. He'll be there for events or this or that or appearances.
Yeah,
but,
like if Vince is like, "Hey, can you come hang out?" He'll be like, "Sure."
Or do this or do that. Yeah, but he will. He's made it very clear he will absolutely never be the Undertaker again. So this is also since 1988. So that is 33 years ago.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
This is the first WrestleMania that did not include The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, or Triple H. They've all been in every WrestleMania since then. Or sorry, at least one of those three.
Oh, one of the three has always been there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every single year since then. It's like this is truly the end, which is funny because they had a big thing back at like WrestleMania, I don't know, like 25 or something, where it was called like End of an Era, where Shawn Michaels retired. It was like that was the name of that match, End of an Era.
Yeah.
And then Triple H and The Undertaker had a wild fucking match the year after that, where Shawn Michaels was actually the guest referee.
Oh,
yeah,
wicked.
and it was one of the best matches ever. But anyway, it was actually called End of an Era.
Yeah.
And now it truly is. This is the first time that neither of those three, which are...
What number WrestleMania are we on tonight?
I think this is 37.
Okay.
I don't even know, man.
Has Michaels fought since WrestleMania 25? I feel like I've seen
Oh,
him
yeah.
since then.
He's been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He came out of retirement a couple times, and he regrets it because it looked fucking shitty. But
And so this is a double night. Who is the main event tonight?
Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre.
And who's the main event tomorrow night?
Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Edge in a triple threat.
Right. And
Fucking Edge came back, man.
that's what I was about to say. Edge coming back is a big deal right now.
10 years since he was forced to retire because of fucking neck injuries. Should never wrestle again. Somehow managed to build his spine up enough and the muscles around it enough that he can physically wrestle again. Got cleared by some of the best doctors on the planet.
So is he jacked right now?
Not crazy, like, extremely fit for his age, but I wouldn't say any bigger than he would have been at the time of his prime.
And is Roman Reigns popular right now?
So he's probably had his best career year ever, in my opinion, but he's still fucking boring. Like, he's boring. Like, his look is nothing to get excited about. His style is kind of fucking boring. Like, he's not particularly great on the microphone.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep stuffing him down everyone's throats, and it's kind of fucking.
Do you think that's because they're really struggling for a truly marketable star right now?
They have what I like to call fucking short-term plans. Like, picture when you take a laser pointer and you point it on the floor and start wiggling it back and forth in front of your dog or cat or something. You know how they go fucking nuts? Like, they look like they're just like fucking all over the place. That's what I think the writers are with wrestling nowadays, at least with WWE. Everything's super fucking short-term. So, like, a feud never lasts long enough, and then it's just like, okay, well, no one cares. Like, they're not...
Right.
And one thing that they do nowadays is people that have titles for a long time.
Right.
Instead, back in the day of when everything was good, having a title for 3 months is fucking, wow, he's been a champion for 90 days now.
Yeah.
And like the storylines were fucking big, so everything felt real. Like the championship felt like a real thing.
Right.
Nowadays, it doesn't feel like a real thing. Not only that, they also do what the UFC does and make it fucking Velcro. Like, it just looks like shit.
Does it change hands quickly, is what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. Nowadays, it doesn't. Like, when you're a champion for a fucking year at a time.
Right.
They make you just look like you always find a way. You always find a way to win. But, like, you don't have that many matches with the title actually on the line.
And, where was I going to go with this next?
Don't know.
Yeah, because what I remember as a kid, like in terms of storyline and story building and feuds, like the one storyline I'll point to in particular, and maybe it was one of the more well crafted probably ever, was the whole Undertaker Kane thing.
No, you're missaying yourself here. That was simply, without question, no argument, no runner up, the best story that's ever happened in any fucking soap opera or wrestling ever, period. Between how fucking long it was, it went from 1996 or 1997, as that's when he became Kane, like the guy that plays him.
Because
until
who was
now.
he before that?
His name was, well, he played the fake Diesel, because the guy that played Diesel, like Kevin Nash, he left and went to WCW, but WWF at the time owned Diesel's character. So they got some guy to just, we're just gonna keep going. You're Diesel now. They made fucking Glenn Jacobs Diesel,
right?
But he was also Isaac Yankem, which was a fucking like crazy evil dentist.
Yes,
and his name was Isaac Yankem. Get it? Like yanking teeth. Yeah. Anyway, flop of characters. Like fucking. That was at the point where the characters were so outlandish. There was like a fucking hockey player. There was a fucking dentist. There was a Duke the dumpster. Like there was a fucking barber, Brutus the barber beefcake. Like, it's fucking these like, it was like careers, you know?
Yeah.
There was a guy named IRS.
Ridiculous.
There was a guy named IRS.
Did he wear a suit?
No, with its sleeves cut off and a bow tie, like he was a fucking, it was so, or a tie sometimes. It was fucking stupid. But anyway, when he became Kane, so from 1997 until now, they were fucking brothers.
Yeah.
And like they fought, they made up, they fucking, separated again. They fucking came back together. Like the story and everyone believed it at the time.
Oh, dude, do you remember like?
I remember his debut.
How long did Kane go without talking? That was years as well.
Yeah, and then they used this fucking little robot thing that used to hold to his voice or his larynx or whatever, his throat, and Anyway,
man, that first time
he should have never taken his mask off, in my personal opinion.
Never cut his hair.
That storyline didn't need to happen. I think it was stupid. It was a bad result, and
because I thought the whole thing with the mask is that he was all burnt up,
which they ran with at first. Like, because he's kind of an ugly fucking guy. Yeah. Like, actually, he kind of looks like Jason Voorhees. Yeah. You ever see pictures of him when he takes his mask off from the Friday the 13th movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just that whole thing was just stupid. They should have just left him forever with a mask on.
Yeah. Oh man, his character was so cool, and I've said it before. My favorite tag team of all time is Kane and X-Pac.
Yes, man.
It was could not have two further apart styles,
And it worked well.
worked so.
Remember
well.
when they got that girl that came between them, Tori?
Yes,
from Degeneration X.
and that's how they split up, right?
Yeah.
Man, that whole thing was so funny, like, because you just have X-Pac.
Well, there's fucking a crime happening here, apparently.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them all.
DMX.
Yeah. X gonna give it to you. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that was fucking great. So tonight with fans in attendance, you're a little bit more excited for it than last year.
Stage looks sick.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
That does look fucking
it looks
crazy.
fucking wicked.
And
That's it. Otherwise, I'm not particularly excited. Like, it's
just
also
watching it to watch it.
yeah. But the thing I think I'm more excited for. Like, there's a couple matches I want to see. Don't get me wrong, but I think the thing I'm most excited for is this is like the end of their year. They don't have like a season, in
Right.
that this is the end of it. So that means starting Monday, things start new, like new rivalries, new this, new that, start coming, and that's what I'm more interested in.
Actually, I do have a big question for you. So I don't know why this is happening, but I'm getting all kinds of like stuff showing up on my Facebook page for wrestling, and I don't know why.
Me neither. Didn't do it.
What is there a certain level of cooperation beginning to happen between WWE and AEW?
So, Chris Jericho is probably the greatest current wrestler on the planet. Like, now that The Undertaker's officially retired and Ric Flair is fucking long gone and The Rock doesn't wrestle and Cena's done and blah, 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 Chris Jericho is currently wrestling very regularly, like weekly.
Yeah.
And he's probably the best and longest running, like, high caliber wrestler.
Yeah, like good physicality and a good show.
Right. He texted. So Stone Cold has a podcast, and Stone Cold has like a podcast show that only airs like once a month on the WWE network.
Right.
Where it's a complete off the collar shoot interview. There's no playing characters. It's just the fucking best ever interviewing some of the other best evers.
Yeah.
And anyway, he interviewed the Undertaker a while back, and Chris Jericho watched it. Texted Stone Cold, said, "Hey man, I'd love to be on sometime. That was a fantastic interview." And then Austin just said, "Yeah, I'd love to have you sometime." They called, they had a quick chit chat back and forth. Austin texted Vince McMahon and said, "Hey, cool if we have Chris Jericho on the show sometime." Chris Jericho signed with the competition.
Yeah.
The direct fucking competition. And Vince said, "Sure." And Austin said, do you realize what you're saying? He's part of the other brand. We're going to obviously talk about the other brand, but we're going to talk about his career too. And Vince just said thumbs up, and he looks at it as competition's good.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, they're going to have an interview which airs tomorrow night. That's the 11th of April, immediately after part 2 of WrestleMania. And I'm fucking unbelievable. I'm almost more pumped for that interview than I am for WrestleMania.
Are you going to stay up and watch that immediately?
100%.
Like, how late does WrestleMania run?
I wouldn't be surprised if it ends at really as 11 o'clock, because normally it would be like midnight or 1 a.m. But
Right.
with splitting up into 2 days now, it'll probably be over by 11:30 maybe. And then that'll probably be an hour 2 interview, whatever.
Right.
But Chris Jericho is probably my favorite current person.
Yeah.
And I've liked him forever anyway. And then him and Austin, like my absolute favorite ever. Like the only reason I'm cool with shaving my head, you know?
Stone Cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like 316 is a way of life. I'm gonna get 3:16 tattooed on my knuckles one day.
Oh, dude, do it. That's when you know you're respectable. And if anybody asks you, be like, it's religious.
Yeah, John 3:16. What does John 3:16 even really mean?
I'm not sure.
What? I thought you were like a Bible thumping fucking.
Not a Bible thumper.
Well, you know what I mean.
I'm more interested in actually Eastern religions as opposed to Western religions, and I'm least interested in Christianity.
John 3:16. Oh, there's not actually a colon there. Oh, there is.
Yeah.
John 3:16. All right.
John Jones has... No, he has Philippians.
Philippines.
No. I thought it was Philippians.
Oh, well, I don't know if Philippines is part of the Bible. So if you're saying a different word with a different syllable in there, then I'm going to take your answer. This is what John 3:16 actually is. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whatsoever believeth, this is fucking retarded. Who reads this shit?
Wait, so why does Stone Cold do the 316?
Oh, would you like to know?
Yes, please.
So, in 1996 at King of the Ring, Stone Cold made it to a match. There was a tournament style matches happening at night, so multiple matches. Jake the Snake won his match. Stone Cold won his match. However, in Stone Cold's match, he got his lip busted open, and immediately afterwards had to go to the hospital
Right.
to get stitched up. This is how fucking rinky-dink wrestling was back then and how low quality medical care. He had to go to a hospital for stitches instead of having like on-site personnel that could do that.
Yeah.
For a guy who's about to go into the main event of this pay-per-view. He gets to the hospital, gets 10 stitches in his lip, takes a taxi back to the arena, and before he goes out through the curtains, his music is playing. He said, because Jake the Snake won his match while Stone Cold was at the hospital, Jake won his match and cut a little promo. He was doing this like religious thing about fucking God and all this instead of being, anyway. Stone Cold says to one of the backstage producers, "Hey, what did Jake do?" "Well, he talked about religion on his promo and cut it against you." It's like, okay, glass happens. He goes out, does his match, wins, scripted, of course. Comes back for his interview immediately afterwards. And remember, his only heads up was he cut a religious promo against you. Stone Cold says, "You go on talking about your Bible, thumping your Bibles, and it didn't get you anywhere. Talking about John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass." Just made it up on the spot. The place went fucking nuts. They didn't realize that they just made the best-selling T-shirt of all time. Still to this day, no T-shirt in history, in anything, has sold more than Austin 3:16 shirts. From that off-the-collar fucking thing. And then he finished his promo with, "And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so." Also, another thing he made up on the spot. He got two of the greatest catchphrases and merchandise T-shirt quotes ever for anything. Fuck's just wrestling. Just anything, period. He created more in one fucking minute of talking off the top of his head with a broken or the busted lip.
After wrestling 2 matches in one night.
Yeah. It's unreal, man. It worked out to be something like, I remember hearing Vince go through the stats one time in some interview with like the show called Off the Record with Michael Landsberg or something.
Yes, I remember that show.
Yeah, I think it was that show. It might have been something else, but I think it was that. He said Stone Cold is selling so much merchandise at the time that it was something like every 10 seconds, something like within every 10 seconds, 3 shirts were sold. And this happened around the clock for like 5 fucking years. Like still he only had a 5-year career. Stone Cold as like a top tier name. John Cena had like fucking almost 20 years at this point and still hasn't been able to outsell Stone Cold. What Stone Cold did in 5 years.
Did Stone Cold start Can of Whoop Ass as well?
He didn't make that term up, but that term definitely caught fire because of him. Without question.
Like, we've talked about this a lot, but the Raw is War era was fucked.
It was insane.
Like, when he used to come out smashing the fucking beers on TSN.
Yes, man.
And, like, dumping them all over himself. Wild-ass fucking human being.
Dude, I was talking to fucking Monroe about that today. So, the last episode of SmackDown happened last night, which is like, that's your send-off into the biggest pay-per-view of your fucking year.
Yeah.
It's got to go. Like, you've got to be, like,
it's money-making season.
The fans got to be fucking drooling for that.
Yeah.
It ended with fucking Roman Reigns saying, "I'm the head of the table. I'm going to win." And that was it. Boring. Fucking boring. Like, I was like fucking half asleep watching it. And I'm like, that's what you're going to sell the biggest pay-per-view of the year with? Man, I remember before WrestleMania 15, fucking The Rock versus Stone Cold was the headliner for the championship.
Yeah.
Stone Cold in Montreal drove into the arena in a fucking truck. Parks it right in front of the arena, in the arena, like right in front of the ring, like in the entranceway, gets out, pulls out the fucking hose, sprays down like fucking a bunch of the crowd, The Rock, Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and maybe someone else was in the ring at the time, just sprays them completely down with fucking beer, gets on top of the truck, gets a microphone and says, Sunday...
was this on Raw?
Yes, man. because there was no SmackDown then. SmackDown didn't exist yet. So this was like the send off to WrestleMania.
Right. So back at this time, like wrestling was only on once a week.
Right.
Right.
On Mondays.
Yeah.
He fucking did this. This was still, to this day, one of the greatest moments in wrestling history, which I think is literally ranked the #1 moment of all time still. So he does this, which is fucking insanity. Like, he's actually spraying real beer off. It's spraying all over the crowd, and then it eventually switched to water, but he was still spraying with like a fire hose.
Yeah.
Gets on top of the truck, gets a mic, and says, "This Sunday I'm going to raise so much hell," or something. "Give me a hell yeah." The crowd was going nuts. He's like, "I said, give me a," and then he gets beer, starts downing them. Like, that send-off. Imagine going from that level. That's just how much better Austin was versus any modern day person.
Right.
That he was just on that level. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some production stuff helping. Like, he didn't write his own character and shit. He just
sold it.
He took it and turned the volume up every time.
Yeah. You didn't make the car, but you sold it.
That's what I mean. Like, the fucking lowest people on the card back then could run circles around the fucking main eventers today. To the point, that whole era, every fucking buddy is a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Like, if they're not in it yet, they'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's why we're still talking about them to this day. Like, when we talk about wrestling nostalgia, even someone like me who's long since gone from it.
Yeah.
Like, my only ties to wrestling now are you.
Yeah.
Like, and I like hearing when you get excited. I just like hearing people be excited and talk about things. But, yeah, when you ask anybody, and everybody will say that is the era of wrestling.
Fucking right it is. There's not even a second question. From 1996 till 2002, let's call it, in fucking sane.
So here's a question for you.
Nice.
So in 2005, we have The Ultimate Fighter and Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner. Do you think the explosion...
Which was an entirely... That whole concept of The Ultimate Fighter, which saved UFC and blew it up, 100% stolen concept from WWE. They did that 3 years earlier, the exact concept of it.
Right. But do you think the fall off in quality of WWF fueled the fire of the rise in popularity of the UFC?
I think it was a bit of that, and as well, it was at the time when... In the early 2000s, like 2003, was it?
2005.
2005. So by 2005, Austin had been retired for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Like, he'd show up, but he wasn't wrestling. He's done his last match.
Yeah.
The Rock was in Hollywood.
Right.
Okay. Ric Flair, injury prone, is all hell. The Undertaker was having a hard time with like going full time. What's his name? Kurt Angle got into a bunch of pills.
Right.
And had to dip. Eddie Guerrero died in 2006, I want to say. So, like, there wasn't really like big stars anymore.
Yeah.
John Cena. John Cena was the guy now.
Yeah.
At that point, but he was squeaky clean and like family friendly.
Right.
So at the same time as TV started to tone down, they didn't have WCW to compete against.
Right.
So you know, they didn't need to try as hard. So the ambition wasn't there because like it was like, oh, I got a job next week. Who cares? There was extra money now where they were suddenly, everyone was making several $100,000 a year as the lowest paid people to multi-millions.
Right.
They weren't like people struggling for like a fucking couple $1,000 paycheck for a fucking TV appearance, you know?
Right.
So anyway, long story short, to wrap that is the competition wasn't there. There was no huge stars. John Cena was still just like he was still rapping. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
He wasn't hustle, loyalty, respect yet. He didn't do the Marine yet.
Yeah.
You know, he was still fucking his little rap character.
Right.
So between that and the fact that all of the people that made wrestling so popular were now becoming adults.
Right.
Like that crowd, that fan base was now becoming adults, and the fucking putting it on mainstream TV of UFC where it's real.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. It's just now all of a sudden it's real and you don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
That's I think the only reason. It was perfect timing. I truly don't believe that if they came up with the idea of the Ultimate Fighter 3 or 4 years earlier, it would have flopped.
In the prime of wrestling, yes.
It would have absolutely flopped because the fan base wasn't there yet. Like the fan base for that wasn't there. Like How the fuck would Chuck Liddell or something possibly compete against Stone Cold versus The Rock?
Wouldn't. Never
You
would.
would have never heard of it.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. Is like,
And then that first season of The Ultimate Fighter, I think it gave wrestling fans like the personalities they wanted, the interesting characters, because you had Diego Sanchez,
Yeah.
Josh Koscheck, Chris Lieben, Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner,
Bingo.
Kenny Florian. Like you had these interesting people.
you got to see who they really are. Their struggles of learning. Well, I use quotes, learning to fight, because they
Yeah.
weren't like professional level, but they
Yeah.
could have been. You know.
Yeah. They were like about to make it people. And then they all
Exactly.
went on to massive careers.
Exactly.
Again, they came from a time of prime content and prime fighters.
Exactly.
And they're all Hall of Famers, just like the Roz War guys.
Bingo. 'Cause
Yeah.
they had to, otherwise the sport wouldn't have existed. Both, I say that both with wrestling and with fucking UFC and MMA.
Yeah.
If Dana and the Fertitas or whatever had tried that idea 4 or 5 years earlier,
And tried to go head to head with Raw.
not a fucking chance. MMA would not be a sport right now.
No.
Like it would have just died. It would have just been this little rinky-dink thing that happens in like fucking bingo halls still.
Yeah.
You know, it would have never gotten
We wouldn't have a sideshow about it.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been a sideshow of a fucking sideshow. Oh, you mean they're really hitting each other? And
Yeah, it's fucked
yeah, is
up.
it a cage? Like,
What the fuck?
yeah, exactly. No, that it would have never floated if it wasn't for like unbelievably perfect timing.
Yeah.
And like I said before, like to throw some shade, a fully stolen idea.
Yeah. And Griffin versus Bonner to cap it all off.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking
There
chaos.
was a perfect recipe of like a lot of things that made that a success, and
Yeah.
that's definitely one of them. Fuck, we just spent an hour talking about fucking wrestling, and you shitting your pants on at least 2 occasions. Well, 1.5.
Yeah.
One in a close call.
I'm really upset that I don't remember those matches correctly.
Yeah, me too.
I like now that I looked at it, I remember Mankind rocking in the corner of the ring, pulling his hair out.
Weirdo, man.
Yeah, he was like yanking his fucking hair.
Yeah, that's probably real hair. That wasn't gimmicked hair. And he's doing it in front of a fucking crowd of nobody, not even on TV, not even making much money for it. And he would still do that. That's dedication to your character.
Dude.
Nowadays, the people won't do shit if there's not cameras on. They'll fucking play the safest matches. They won't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
Pull your fucking hair out. If your hair was like you know what I mean? If your hair
It sounds so fucked saying it out loud.
if your hair was an inch long, or 2 inches or whatever, like your
Yeah.
hair is now, who cares? At the end of the day, it's fucking grown back in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
This guy's hair was down past his shoulders. This was long hair. That don't happen
Dude,
overnight.
Do you remember how patchy his hair
From
always
doing
was?
that, pulling his hair out in front of
So
nobody in fucking Newfoundland.
Dude, I just looked up. Do you know what the attendance was that night?
Like 900.
3,600 people.
Oh, fuck. That's still
Yeah.
more than I thought, but
But still, for like, a man who's now a multimillionaire to be sitting there pulling his hair out in front of you.
dude, man, the amount of stories I heard about, because he was the most frugal human on the planet or in the locker room.
Yeah.
They used to, so they would, the way it worked is you had to travel from town to town,
Yeah.
but they, like, let's say you live in Buffalo, New York, and the first match or the first of your little like road trip or whatever is in like Nashville or something like that. And then you do a couple matches there, or in that area, Nashville, Memphis, Tennessee, like that whole area.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like you've got to travel to the West Coast, and a day and a half you got a match that's like Sacramento and fucking
Sure.
blah 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 down the West Coast. They would pay for your airfare to get to that spot. And then it was on you. It was 100% on the wrestlers to find yourself a rental car, get yourself between the little towns, find your own hotel and all that. It's 100% on them.
Yeah.
Mankind, or Mick Foley, was so fucking frugal. He wouldn't buy, like, it got to the point, and it's pretty obvious when you can see when he switched over to more of a Cactus Jack character. He wouldn't even pay for ring attire. He would just wear track pants, wear like the socks that he had, and like that's all he brought with him because he didn't want to pay money for like his appearance and all that. And that's why the character switched into that. So he would just wear those clothes, wash them in like bathtubs at hotels, and wring them out and wear them again. He would cash in those airplane tickets that the company bought him for money, and then he would drive to those places crazy hours. He would fucking go to the concession stands in the arenas after the show and get whatever leftover popcorn and shit was still there, put them in huge fucking garbage bags, and that's what he'd live off of. Eating fucking day-old stale-ass popcorn out of a garbage bag and stuff.
Oh, so he like is a real life lunatic.
Yeah, yeah. No, he would do this to not spend money at all. Cause like even though he was making like millions of dollars a year, and yes, plural millions of dollars a year, he wouldn't spend any of it. And he would just like fucking keep making
Do you
it.
think he's still that frugal now?
Oh yeah. Man, he still travels around all over the place doing like appearances. Well, maybe not so much in the past year with COVID and shit,
Yeah.
but doing autograph signings, and he does like a comedy tour where he just tells wrestling stories.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and just like
Kind of like a Steve-O thing.
exactly, he does that, and he still looks like a bum.
When's the last time he showed up in wrestling anywhere?
Oh, like to wrestle?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I don't know. He was at WrestleMania a few years ago. He didn't wrestle. I think he did one move or something like that.
Do you think is he still under contract with the WWE?
I don't believe so, but I think that it's kind of like a character, like they own the character. He's allowed to use the name McFoley because it's his real name, but like I don't know. I don't know how it works for merchandise and all that.
That's so weird because like
He probably owns the rights to them. In all honesty, he probably does.
yeah, his character's his character.
Yeah.
His character is who he is, but he seems to be like the kind of person who would have had the foresight and the creativity. Like if it came out, and I don't know, maybe you do know this, maybe it's open knowledge, that he created Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and the like Mick Foley wrestling persona, I would not be surprised.
No, he probably negotiated the rights to that in a contract at some point.
To be like, I'll license these to you so you can make merchandise.
Yeah.
But they're mine.
Yeah,
Like,
same
I
deal
own
with like The Rock, which I'm not sure how that fully works. I think that Vince just said you can use it. I think technically WWE owns the term The Rock.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that he told Dwayne Johnson, use it whenever you want. I'm not ever asking for nothing for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe just signed it over to him, and now The Rock does own it.
Yeah, because
Because he doesn't go by The Rock anymore. Now, it doesn't even say Dwayne The Rock Johnson in credits. It just says Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
The only thing that's The Rock about him now is his fucking Instagram and Twitter names.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if that his Under Armour shit has anything to do with it.
It just has the bull on it.
Yeah, I don't think
Like
it's
his
called The
bull
Rock.
logo.
It's just called... I don't know what it's called.
That's interesting though, because the bull logo was also a thing in WWE. So it's like maybe he does give them some kind of cut.
Yeah, you know what's fucked up? He covered that tattoo up. The one that made him famous and why the bull is synonymous with him. Yeah, he covered it up. It's fucking he's got a 3/4 sleeve or whatever on that arm, and it fully covered it up.
Really?
With a different bull, I believe.
Oh,
but like
okay.
it didn't look as like
Cartoony.
yeah, it didn't have the shape to it. Like if you didn't know it was a bull, you probably would never know.
Yeah.
No, he did that not too long back, actually, maybe 2 years ago.
And last thing with wrestling, but Mick Foley, it seems like AEW is a very perfect fit for him. Do you think there's a possibility that he ever shows up there?
Who knows? I hope not. No, honestly, what the fuck's the point? He can't wrestle now. His
Yeah.
character is like he's pulled back the curtain so much on himself, like between the fact he had his own reality TV show.
Right.
Everyone knows Mankind is Mick Foley, is Cactus Jack. Like it's just at this point, I don't think there's a way you can win. Like what are you gonna do? Show up and do what? Like can't fucking do anything.
Yeah, you're not going to be that interesting character anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that's super shrouded in mystery.
Nah, I don't think there's anything. There's 0 point in him showing up. It just wouldn't make sense. I don't even think he's a big enough draw at this point.
Man, because like when he was doing that whole split with the three characters, it's like he was playing it like he had like a personality disorder.
Yeah, man.
It was brilliant.
Dude, in the 1998 Royal Rumble in January 98, he came out as all three of them in the 30-man over the top rope Royal Rumble.
Like he would go out, get eliminated, come back as another one.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he pulled triple duty that night. And they've all got their own styles too.
They wrestle different.
Oh yeah. I think he started out as Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
I feel like it started out as Cactus Jack, and then, yeah, I'm not sure. He was actually in there for quite a while as that too.
I remember one year my mom and dad for Christmas got me a 3-pack of wrestlers. And man, actually, I'm sure I got a lot of wrestlers. That was like my big year, like when I got my wrestling ring and everything like that. Probably would have been like 97-ish,
Yeah.
98-ish maybe. But anyways, I got a 3-pack. and it was Dude Love, Cactus Jack, and Mankind. And I remember Cactus Jack came with a baseball bat with barbed wire
Makes sense.
wrapped around it.
That
It was super fucking cool.
Cactus Jack would have, yeah?
Yeah,
That was his thing, yeah.
Yeah, well, 3 of them like came in a package together.
Yeah.
And they all had accessories. Like, I feel like Dude Love had like a piece of 2x4 or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Or he might not have. Oh, no, he had like a vest.
Yeah, okay.
And then Mankind had a steel chair.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It was fucking rad.
Those are the fucking days, man.
Oh,
Fuck, wrestling is sick.
dude, wrestling was very special at that time.
Yeah. Just fucking, it's just Broadway with body slams.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah.
It's fucking retarded. I just shit on it. Anyway.
Was that a wrestling episode?
Fucking might as well have been.
Was that dudes talking wrestling?
Yeah. So we're recording this on Saturday, April 10th. It's currently 6:42 p.m.
Yeah.
This is my prediction of what happens tonight. I
Okay.
believe Becky Lynch returns. That's the big thing I was thinking was going to happen tonight, if anything. I believe she returns. She's been out for almost a year because she was having a baby. Well, she had the baby, and it's only been a handful of months, but I feel like she could have gotten herself back into a little bit of
Dude,
shape.
a lot of those girls, like Ariane Celeste.
Yeah.
Ariane Celeste popped out a baby, and I swear to God, she was at fucking UFC next week and looked sick
Yep.
again.
I feel like hold on, where am I at here? Where would that BR or something? Oops, BR. Right here. The where am I at? Looking here. Yeah, is this it? So this is why I think that Becky Lynch tweeted
Yeah.
yesterday.
Right.
Nothing is guaranteed here. Tonight only, now eternally. That says night 1. If you look the first letter of each word.
Oh.
And that's it. That's the only cryptic message. And I'm taking that as night 1 for night 1. I think, and there is a women's wrestling match. So there was a couple, I think, but
So do you
I
think,
feel like she's coming back.
Do you think she'll show up tonight at the end of the event and then be in on day 2?
I don't know what. Here's the thing, man. Because like I said, I'm not really super eager for any of the matches. I actually don't know what's night 1 and what's night 2. I don't like. I know what the main event is tonight, and that's the only match that I know is today.
Right.
The other ones, the other one I mentioned for tomorrow, I know that that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But all the other matches that are happening, which I'm not even positive I know all of them,
Yeah.
I don't know which nights they are.
Right.
But I feel like she's returning tonight. Now, her last, was that her last? No, it wasn't. This was 2 fucking years ago now. Ronda Rousey had her last match. That was 2 years ago now. That's time is going by so quick. I believe Ronda Rousey will also return.
Tonight.
I fucking think so.
Like maybe one of them shows up tonight and one shows up tomorrow, or they both come back tonight
I don't know.
and wrestle tomorrow.
The thing is with Ronda, she's like, the reason she stopped,
Yeah.
well, first of all, she lost, but like part of it was she was supposed to ride into the sunset for a bit to go become a mom. Like she wanted to go have like a babycation, I think she was calling it.
Yeah.
Well, to my knowledge, she and Travis still haven't popped out that kid. It's been 2 fucking years now. I don't believe, I don't even know that she's even pregnant.
Yeah.
So for all I know, she's like, well, let's go back and make a whackload more money in a very short period of time and then really hang it up.
Did you see recently? So Misha Tate's back in MMA.
Yeah.
And they asked Dana if they think Ronda, or if he thinks Ronda will ever come back. And
He said absolutely zero.
Yeah, he said it will never happen.
No, I don't even think he's interested in having her back.
I don't think she'd be the same draw anymore.
No, she wouldn't.
No, she wouldn't.
I don't think she's much of a draw, period, anymore.
No.
Like, she hasn't been in the spotlight in 2 years now. She's done fucking nothing. I don't think she's made a movie in 2 years.
No.
She hasn't been on WWE or in UFC.
She's not really active on social media.
Nope. I think she's literally just a fucking...
This is the truth. Misha Tate coming back is a bigger deal than Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, the only difference is I think you would get some people that tune in for Ronda that are just like supporting women's...
Whereas MMA fans are like...
MMA fans care about Misha.
Care about Misha.
Right. But
She's
anyone
a fucking
outside of
goddess.
that, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, anyway.
That's it. Enjoy WrestleMania
Cool.
tonight. I hope you have a good time.
Yeah, dude's talking shit. Episode, I think 49. Maybe this is 50. I don't know.
We gotta make
I
sure we
actually
get
lost
52,
count.
right?
Yeah, we got it. We'll do an extravaganza. It'll be a super wild and wonderful episode. Find us on Instagram at Dudes Talking Shit.
Maybe multiple guests.
Ryan on Instagram at Drunk Ryan. Travis on Instagram at
TFan23.
Send them dick pics.
Later, shitheads.